If you have chronic pain, injury, or disability, stay tuned for this video about tips and tricks to get through the pain. Hi, fiber folk. My name is Trent. I'm the Weft Right. Welcome to my porch today here in the beautiful mountains of Western North Carolina. As always, there's fiber on my face. Today I'm spinning. The weather's a little iffy. It's rainy, a little bit drizzly, foggy, but then bouts of sunshine. So we'll see how the lighting does in this video. Today I'm spinning this beautiful um, alpaca silk blend that I got in my last video at the Winchester Creek Alpaca Farm. And one of the things that I really wanted to talk about was spinning through pain. I have chronic back pain, and it's really hard to spin some days. And I have found some techniques that work for me. I'm not recommending that everyone try these techniques. I'm not diagnosing or treating any kind of illness or pain issue. There are many reasons that you can have pain while you're spinning. One of those reasons is just being in a larger body. I'm a very large person. And for instance, a really good tip is to find a wheel that works right for your body. If you have larger thighs and you can't hold them together comfortably, and you're trying to treadle on a 2 treadle wheel, that's really going to cause a lot of stress on your knees and on your hips, which can be really, really painful. You can treadle a 2 treadle wheel just on 1 treadle, and that's a technique to let your legs separate a little bit. I really like spinning on a 1 treadle wheel. This is my Ashford Traditional. But if you have hip, knee, foot, ankle issues, I highly recommend you get an eSpinner. My eSpinner is by Uncle Kolya. I made a review about that. It's a very good eSpinner at a very reasonable price, and I think it's really, really beautiful. One of the good things about having an eSpinner is if you do have severe medical issues that prevent you from getting up and getting around and setting up equipment, you can have someone help you put the eSpinner in your bed and actually spin while you're laying down. I have never done this personally, but I have woven while laying down on my ankle loom, which is an important technique when my back is really, really bad. Another important tip when you're spinning on a treadle wheel is your chair height. Now, here's the deal. This is a very individual choice. Everyone says that you should have a chair that your hips are higher than your knees. I personally find that a slightly lower chair, or what I'm spinning on right now, this bench, works for me better because it's more comfortable for me to lean back in. I need support with my back, which one of the things that I do to get that is I use a pillow. This is my Bayou Tapestry pillow, which I absolutely love. And I keep that right in my lumbar area. The important thing that you want to think about is posture. So everyone says sit up straight, right? You hear that from the time you're a child. But sitting up straight may not be the most comfortable posture for you and the disability or injury that you have. I like to lean back as opposed to sitting up straight. And because of that, I like a really comfortable pose where I keep my hands close to me. It's a really important tip. A lot of people are trained, or at least interpret spinning as hunched over the wheel, getting close to the orifice. The only time I've ever really found that necessary is when I'm spinning really large art yarns that I need to get very little twist into. The type of yarns I'm usually spinning, I can, no matter the type of draft I'm doing, spin really far away from the wheel while I'm leaning back a little bit, which really helps. So don't think you have to be hunched over feeding the yarn into the machine. It'll do it on its own really, really well. Another thing that you may have issues with is joint pain in your hands and wrists, especially if you have arthritis. I do have arthritis in my hand. It's not too severe, but I do find that doing short forward draft or worsted style drafts can be really tiring after a while, which is one of the reasons that I learned to do long draw on wool. I do supported long draw, but as opposed to pinching with my hand, I simply lay it on top to control the amount of twist. If you would like for me to do a video about long draw and my technique for it, be happy to do that. I'm not the best at it. I'm still learning. I did start out learning long draw when I was spinning cotton, and wool has a much longer staple length than cotton, so I still get a lot more slubs, but honestly the yarn is really lofty and it blooms really beautifully, so I kind of love the result I get from the long draw. Another thing that's important is having a wheel that's set up for you. So making sure your wheel is well oiled so that it spins freely and you're not having to put a lot of pressure on it. Making sure the tools you need are close at hand. As you see here, I hang my orifice hook on an eye screw that I put in my wheel. I also have an alligator clip that I put near my orifice so that I can easily clip the yarn when I need to go up and do something. The other important thing to do is not spin for too long at one time. One of my secrets is to only prepare a small section of fiber at a time. So instead of directly feeding off of your roving or top, I break off small pieces and work with those. That way I'm having to constantly stop. It also gives me time to move things on my hooks, to resituate, to stretch, which I think is really important. So I'm only spinning for about 5 minutes at a time before I stop, take a rest, adjust my wheel, adjust my back. It's really important. Something else that's really important, of course, is stretching before you start crafting. I know everyone hears that and thinks, oh yeah, whatever. It is really important. I sometimes forget to do it, but I never forget to stretch in the middle of my spinning. Every time I get a new piece of material to spin, a new piece of fiber, I go ahead and do some stretching, which I think is really important. Let's talk a little bit about what things you can do in your daily life that help. Something that has helped my back tremendously is going to the gym and doing light weightlifting. I know it sounds like a scary thing to do. We have a very good, friendly gym, uh, which accepts people of all body types, and there's no pressure to be perfect. And I really enjoy going there and doing light swimming and light weight training. This has been really life changing for me. It's helped my back tremendously. And any kind of activity that you can do, even if it's just walking, is going to help you in all the activities you do in your life. I know these are hard things to do for some people, and it may be impossible for you. But any amount of activity you can get, even if that's just walking up and down the stairs a few times or stretching in bed, is going to help you in the long run in your fiber journey, especially when it comes to spinning. But also, I'm a multi-crafter and I weave as well, and having those experiences and exercises really helps me in the weaving arena as well, because the weaving is a very back intensive activity. I didn't mention this earlier, but making sure that the tension is set properly on your wheel and you're not constantly fighting the wheel pulling the yarn in at a really rapid rate is very important for hand fatigue. I think too many spinners spin with too high a tension and they feel like their wheel is ripping the yarn out of their hand, which is not a fun way to spin at all. One thing that you can do to help with that is cross lace your wheel. If you want me to make a separate video about that, I can, but I think that all the spinning books and most of the good spinning channels are going to have things about cross lacing. Another thing that could be helpful if you do have to spin in bed and you're not able to get out of bed is to maybe switch to a a supported spindle. So that's a spindle you don't have to let drop and don't have to let gravity take effect. You can use your supported spindle in bed and not have to worry about using the eSpinner or the price of an eSpinner if that's prohibitive to you, even though the Electric Eel Wheel is a very reasonably priced wheel, as well as the Uncle Kolya that I talked about earlier. One of the things that I love about working in bed is that I can have my station all set up. I can have my hydration right beside my bed. I can have my phone on the charger. I can have my laptop if I need to look up anything. I do have a TV in my bedroom, which people have mixed feelings about, but I am able to watch TV if I want to while I spin. So it can be a really enjoyable setup, which is something that you could translate to anywhere you spin. I don't have my water bottle with me right here, but it's not too far away. And it is good to get up and take breaks if you can. Another consideration that you may not have thought of is your prep that you're spinning from. Prep does matter. I will say that comb top puts more stress on my hands because the fibers slide by each other really easily. And also, if twist gets up inside the fiber, it's very hard to draft. So spinning from a true roving or a rolag or a bat might be a better option for you. Of course, making sure that there's an ice pack or heating pad available if you need it is really important. I sometimes spin with a heating pad on my back because that helps immensely. All right, that's about it for today. That's all I have. I know today's video was a little less organized than most of my videos, but it's just something that's on my mind right now as I am struggling with a lot of pain. And I wanted to keep spinning, just like those spinners in the Tour de France. They have to keep going even when they're in a lot of pain sometimes. So if you like this content or if you'd like to see some more of my videos, please subscribe. I absolutely love seeing your comments. Let me know if there are any tips or tricks that you have for dealing with your pain in the comments down below. And until next time, keep spinning and keep crafting. Bye.